Hi guys and welcome to Crazy Burger. So in this video we're going to be looking at the games a little bit more in-depthly. Now I was thinking this through and the best way to actually do these videos and obviously I contemplated doing it in one video, but that's going to be too long. Realistically, if I get maybe 2-3 minutes per game, that would be well over an hour, and I think for me trying to edit it and the viewer, that's probably not the best way of doing it. So what I'm going to do is split this into banks of 5. So I think obviously that'll be 5 videos, obviously 5 parts, and I'll maybe go through each of the 5 games. I'll play them a little bit longer than I did in my sort of review video of the C64 Mini Black Edition, and I'll give you my opinions as we go. It's just really more impressions of the games. Some of them I have played quite a lot, and some of them I've even finished previously prior to them being on the Mini. So some of them will be a bit first impressions and I will be a bit more in depth in some of the games, but for the best part it's not really going to be reviews of the actual games, just merely impressions. And I have to say, having played all these games now, I think my initial impressions are completely spot on. There's not a bad game on this sort of list of 25 games. It really is a collection of some of the best modern retro games in the past few years. Really good stuff, and I cannot recommend this highly for those that love your Commodore 64 games. Anyway guys, without further ado, I'm going to get stuck into it. We're going to start with a Pig's Quest and we'll make our way through 5 games up to Grid Pix in this first part. Let's get started. So first up is a Pig Quest, which was released a couple of years ago and it was very well received at the time, and it's such a good game. It's a sort of adventure platform puzzle style game split across 5 different worlds, and I think your sort of goal is to try and collect different artifacts as you go, unlock sort of areas with keys. You can upgrade your weapons, upgrade your armor, that type of thing. It is very challenging, don't get me wrong. It is really tough at times, and sometimes you're going to have to probably brutalize those save states to make sure you get good progress. You have a decent amount of lives as well and a reasonably good amount of health, but that will go very quickly. There's lots of sort of large enemies. The graphics are really cool, and the sort of music soundtracks are fantastic as well. Top quality game, and I think if this was released back in the day, it'd be one of those games that would be marked as a 90+% on the sort of Commodore format magazines and Zap 64 as it was at the time. What a great game, fantastic, just a little bit challenging, so bear with it. It is well worth putting the effort into. So this is Caren and the Tangled Tentacles, a very tricky game to say. This is a point and click adventure. There's not an awful lot of this style of game on the Commodore 64. I think it's obviously reminiscent of the classic games like Maniac Mansion and Zack McCracken and the Alien Mindbenders. I remember a game called Detective, I think it was called, that was released on one of the magazines. It reminded me a little bit like that as well, but there's not an awful lot of this type of game on Commodore 64. It is a little bit clunky, but I think they've done the best for what they've obviously got in utilising the control messages you see on the screen. You've got a search function, use, exit as well, and use the item that you got in your massive inventory that you can see in the centre of the screen at the bottom there. It is actually really well done. I think once you get used to the rather clunky controls, it's really cool. It's actually quite fascinating to play. Yes, it is a little bit slow paced. Obviously, it's a point and click adventure, but stay with it. I think it's definitely worth putting the time into, and it's fascinated me. I never played an awful lot of it when it was released. I think I just didn't have the patience. I think there was too many other games at the time, but one I'm going to put some more time into now, and it's certainly intriguing me what the story's all about and what's actually happening, and I would certainly recommend it. It is really, really well done. And as I said, it's not really something you've seen on the Commodore 64 that often, so it's a nice change, and it's obviously one of a kind on this collection as well. So next up we've got Galencia, which is clearly a cross between Galaxian and Galaga, and it's very well done indeed. Such great, lovely graphics. The sprites are really nice and large and detailed. I love the parallax scrolling in the background as well. That is such a nice touch. Definitely reminds you of Galaga, that does. And obviously you can get captured and get the double fighters as well, which is straight out of Galaga. Not really my type of genre at all, but I can clearly see that this is high quality stuff. And if you love this type of game, this will be right up your street. I thought it was really well done. So next up is Good Night, that was released on X.io last year, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's got 40 stages to get through, sort of puzzle platforming style thing where you're avoiding the different obstacles and things getting thrown at you, and getting to the end and raising the flag, moving on to the next sort of single screen and trying to solve that. It is really, really good fun, but very frustrating as well. You only really get 2 or 3 lives, and it is very trial and error, so you will die an awful lot. I would have liked to have seen this one with infinite lives instead. Certainly well worth your time. It's loosely based on a game called Hunchback that was released in 1984. I didn't play that game at the time, so I'm not massively aware of it. This game is certainly far more polished and certainly graphically more pleasing to look at. So last game for this video, and this is Grid Pix from Carlton Handley from 2020, and I have to say I absolutely love this game. It's got hundreds of stages to get through. The first set of levels are pretty straightforward. Basically it's Picross, and you're trying to make an image based on the hints that are there. You're trying to colour in the different squares based on the hints at the left and top of the screen. There are instructions how to play this game at the menu screen, so if you're stuck and not sure what to do, refer to that. It's very straightforward. You're basically trying to fill in or create a picture based on the clues, and it's very addictive once you get into it. As I said, 100 levels, it does get really tough. I think some levels it's very trial and error. I think you could easily take 25 minutes to sort of complete one picture, if not even longer, and you'll probably even mess up and have to almost start again. But as I said, I loved this game. I did finish it when it was released a few years ago. 100 stages, very addictive stuff, and there is even an Xmas edition as well that was released a year or so after it. Hopefully we'll see that on the C64 Mini as well, maybe as a secret unlockable. Okay guys, so that's our look at the first 5 games on the C64 Mini Black Edition. 5 really good games, 5 very, very different games. Now in the second part, obviously I will be going on over the next 5, which is Guns and Ghosts, Hessian, Hunter's Moon, It's Magic 2 and Joe Gun Gold Edition. Now just obviously let you know here that I am actually playing all the games with the gamepad rather than the joystick. I found the joystick just to be pretty much unusable for some of the games, and I felt that the gamepad was just a little bit more enjoyable to get the best out of some of these games. That's just how I'm playing it. You might prefer something different. Anyway guys, again, thanks very much for watching our video. Please let me know your thoughts on these games, and I will catch you again in the next one, perhaps part 2 coming soon. Bye for now.